Like, is there's like three things that you see that are like, wow, if this is something you could get rid of, or if this is something, you could improve in practice, anything that like glaringly comes out like clockwork every camp?
Oh yeah, for sure. I'd say if I could go back in time and there's some Scotsman on a ship and it's a rainy, rickety day, and he's coming over from Scotland. He's played a bit of golf and he fancies himself a high level player. And he's coming over to the United States and he's going to work at some club as a caddy and he's going to coach golf. And I could impress upon him to not teach the interlock grip. I'd do that in a heartbeat. And everybody listening is like, "What? I have the interlock grip." And then I'll say, "Yeah, and you probably are not a very good golfer, I hate to say." And then they'll say, "Well, Tiger Woods, the picture behind you, he has the interlock grip, and so does Jack Nicklaus." And I would say, "Yes, they do, and they are very good at it." However, as a coach who's coached forever now, because I am father time now, I'm 56 years old, I'm old as hell. Okay, here's my point. There's a sensation, and are people going to watch this video? Or are they just listening? I
Both.
don't. Oh, okay. There's a sensation of putting your knuckles together, interlock, that gets fingers webbing to webbing. And once you do that and you get in a bunch of reps and start sucking at golf to some degree, you're behind the eight ball quick. Because as soon as you get your webbing to webbing of your trail hand to your left, it's really hard to get your right hand on the grip properly. I mean,
Mm.
there's some great, obviously, players that interlock. They've had some caring coaches like John Anselmo was Tiger's coach at a young age, and of course his father. And then there was Jack Grout, Jack Nicklaus's coach. And yeah, these guys had interlocking grips, but they had great right hands. So somebody had a dictator of grips, i.e., a griptator, that made them do it correctly in their interlock.
Mm.
Whereas most people picking it up, they go, "Hey, Johnny shoots 86. He's a good golfer. I'm going to play with Johnny and he's going to give me some tips." And those tips are, hey, put your hands together and connect them so they stay connected, because you need connected hands when you play golf. Well, you don't. But so then they go webbing to webbing, and then the right hand doesn't fit on nicely, and they suck. Sorry.
I'm surprised that no, I mean, I'm surprised that many people really do have the interlock lip. I would have guessed maybe 10%. Like, I have no idea, I guess.
No, at a golf camp, seriously,
Hmm.
the interlock grip, and so 15 people every week,
Yep.
I'm going to say 12 of them have an interlock grip. Now, keep in
Wow.
mind who comes to see me, my favorite kind of people. The favorite kind of people are people with time and money. They're the best. They come and see me every week. We have a great time. They're typically between like 50 and 80. Okay, because my camp's expensive. I don't apologize for that. I position
Yeah.
myself and I'm happy they come see me. Or if somebody 35 comes, it's because their kid is coming with their older adult that's successful and comes to my camp. And I'm telling you, 10 or 12, 13 of them have an interlock grip
Hmm.
where the right hand's on in some poor manner and their left hand's on in a palmy manner. So here's the thing, like they've taken lessons before. Okay, there's very rarely does somebody show up in my camp and they say, "Hey, this is the first lesson I've ever taken." And
Right.
I'm like, "Okay, cool. Well, that's great. Let's get into some basic things and routine, how to walk into a ball, how to aim. That's like paramount stuff. Can you walk into a ball? Can you kind of aim your gun a little bit? Yeah, there's going to be some technical stuff. I'll try not to bury you because that's not my job to do that. Let me just help you shape your swing and rhythm a little differently. Walking into a ball, aiming nicely, okay? But gripping the club, man, like getting this thing in your hand so you can lever it nicely,
Hmm.
so you can feel how it can lever, where the weight plays around in your swing, how the face is, how the thing shifts around a bit, so that the sense of the 14 clubs in your bag. Obviously, putter will exclude, but how the shape of the circle gets a little steeper with the wedges, a little flatter with the driver, how the feels and forces against your hands play are so critical that if you have a crap grip, yeah, you can get good at golf, but it's harder, man. It
Hmm.
is way harder. There's some kid that played in the U.S. Amateur this year that makes me look like a moron, like a total moron. He had the worst grip I've ever seen in my life of a good player. I wish I could remember his name. The guy could probably drum me. He had the worst. He had his hands were split. Do you remember this kid? Did you see it on?
I don't, is it a split grip?
It was a split grip.
Oh,
His
no, I
hand.
don't remember this one.
Well, here's the beauty of it. This is the hysteria of it. His hands were split on the grip by like an inch and a half. Okay.
I wouldn't even
Yet,
be able to hit the ball.
well, no kidding. Yet this pinky finger and index finger were interlocked. So he had the interlock grip. Oh boy, he interlocked it. But I swear
Interlock.
there was an
Wow.
inch between his hands. And yet the kid was, he got to like the quarterfinals or the round of 16 or something. Like it was, and I'm going, oh my gosh, that
Wow.
is testimony to an athlete and nobody around him going, hey, Jimmy, come on.
Right.
Like, like when you're little enough, let's fix that so you can
Hmm.
articulate the club just a little better. The kid, who knows, maybe he would have been worse, right?
Hmm.
But when you look through the Hall of Fame, buddy, the show, oh, the Hall of Fame's full of a bunch of bizarre grips. I'm like, yeah, there's a handful. Everybody loves looking at the edge of those like the bell curves for the freaks.
Hmm.
Okay. And I say the freaks, like I mean it with love, like Hideki Matsuyama when he paused at the top, he doesn't even do that anymore. Tom Kim, or goes back, is it Tom Kim or Ben On? I can't remember. It always seems like it's a Korean kid. Like they go back super slow, then do something.
Hmm.
I'm like, you're always pointing out like 1%. These
Yeah.
students come to see me. I'm like, how about point out the meat of the bell curve? These common great grips, great postures, no crazy swing shapes. Like they're
Hmm.
not Jim Furyk, although he's phenomenal. He's an old friend of
Right.
mine. They're just nice functional swings that work really well. We don't have to
Hmm.
be on the far ends of these wild things, but you can. But let's just kind of go down Main Street with a conventional swing. Works pretty good.